a multifaceted talent spanning music, sports, film, and even the skies above. The sky, where he once soared high in search of freedom, ultimately became the stage where fate closed the chapter on his brief life. Behind the dazzling achievements and glamorous facade lay a series of painful losses, turning Dean Paul's story into a sobering lesson about the cost of chasing dreams. Were those dreams truly worth the price? The tale of Dean Paul Martin Jr. remains a profound question mark, both a source of inspiration and an enduring lament. Early life Dean Paul Martin Jr., born on November 17, 1951, grew up in a household constantly bathed in the spotlight. As the son of legendary singer and entertainer Dean Martin and his second wife, Jean Beeger, Dean Paul Jr. was the eldest of 3 children Jean had with Dean, and the 5th among his father's 8 children. From the moment he was born, Dean Paul was enveloped in fame and laden with high expectations from his family. Growing up in Hollywood, the epicenter of glamour and power, Dean Paul's childhood was anything but ordinary. His babysitters weren't mere nannies but iconic actresses, including Marilyn Monroe. Frequent visitors to his home included A-list stars like Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr. Living among such legendary figures fueled Dean Paul's desire to one day become a silver screen star himself. Despite growing up in an environment of freedom and opulence, Dean Paul was not allowed to neglect his education or personal development. His parents decided to enroll him at the Urban Military Academy in Brentwood, California. This strict military school demanded discipline, resilience, and independence, offering a stark contrast to the carefree allure of Hollywood. These formative experiences helped shape a strong, independent, and disciplined character within him, a striking counterbalance to the glamorous world he inhabited. From a young age, Dean Paul was encouraged to pursue a singing career, following in his father's artistic footsteps. With his impressive voice and striking appearance, it wasn't hard for him to carve out a space in the industry. However, the pressure of living up to his family's fame and the weight of others' expectations made his journey anything but easy. Dean Paul embodied 2 contrasting worlds: the freedom and glamour of a famous Hollywood family and the strict discipline of military life. This unique blend shaped his distinctive personality, a man of both spontaneity and responsibility. This foundation not only helped him navigate life's challenges, but also highlighted the singular character that defined his journey, one of both triumph and tragedy. Achievements across multiple fields. Dean Paul Martin Jr. left his mark not only in music, but also in sports and film, proving himself to be a rare, multifaceted artist and athlete. At just 13 years old, he co-founded the band Dino, Desi, and Billy with his close friends Desi Arnaz Jr. and Billy Hinshaw. This was no ordinary band. It was a fusion of artistic talent and powerful family legacies. The group quickly garnered attention with 2 hit singles, I'm a Fool and Not the Loving Kind, both of which made it into the Billboard Top 30. These remarkable achievements came at an age when most are still searching for direction. Their performances earned widespread fan admiration and even respect from top-tier bands of the era, like the Beach Boys, who collaborated with them on songwriting. Though the band's career was short-lived, the impact they made far exceeded the youthful ages of its members. Despite his success in music, Dean Paul did not stop there. As a teenager, he chose to abandon his nickname, Dino, in favor of his birth name, Dean Paul, as a personal statement of independence, stepping out from his father's shadow. This marked the beginning of his venture into professional sports. With a lifelong passion for tennis, Dean Paul worked tirelessly to become a standout athlete. He competed in Wimbledon qualifiers, an extraordinary feat even for the most rigorously trained players. On the tennis court, he shone not only for his striking appearance, but also for his focus and exceptional skill. This accomplishment was a testament to his determination and his relentless pursuit of excellence. Dean Paul's versatility continued to shine when he transitioned to acting. In the 1979 film Players, he portrayed a professional tennis player, a role that mirrored his own life both on and off the court. Although the film didn't achieve significant box office success, Dean Paul's performance received critical acclaim, earning him a Golden Globe nomination for Best New Star of the Year. Remarkably, even as he pursued acting, he refused to abandon his love for sports. He insisted that the filming schedule accommodate his tennis tournaments, a demanding balance that demonstrated his unwavering dedication and incredible work ethic. Personal life. Like many artists who achieve great success in their careers, Dean Paul Martin Jr. faced numerous challenges in his personal life, particularly in his marriages. His first marriage began like a fairy tale when he fell in love with actress Olivia Hussey after watching her shine as Juliet in the 1968 film Romeo and Juliet. With uncommon determination, Dean Paul won Olivia's heart, and they married in 1971 with the blessings of friends and family. The couple welcomed a son, Alexander Martin, who would later follow the family's artistic tradition and become an actor. However, their marriage was not immune to turbulence. The pressures of their careers, coupled with differences in personality and lifestyle, gradually strained their relationship. After 7 years together, Dean Paul and Olivia decided to part ways, leaving behind a profound sadness, but maintaining a friendly bond for the sake of their son. This breakup deeply impacted Dean Paul as he grappled with the sense of failure in preserving his family life. Unwilling to give up on love, Dean Paul entered a second marriage in 1982 with Dorothy Hamill, the legendary Olympic gold medal-winning figure skater. Their wedding with Dean Paul in his military uniform symbolized romance and hope for a fresh start. Yet this happiness was also short-lived. Both were consumed by demanding careers and frequent separations, which caused growing tension in their relationship. Dorothy later revealed in her autobiography that despite her love for Dean Paul, they were both too young and unprepared to handle the challenges of marriage. After just 2 years, they decided to divorce, leaving another emotional scar on Dean Paul. At the heart of both marriages was a profound inner conflict for Dean Paul. He struggled not only to establish himself as an independent artist, but also to embody the role of a pillar of the family, an ideal he always aspired to achieve. The failures in sustaining his relationships and his feelings of inadequacy as a partner left Dean Paul increasingly burdened by self-doubt. These insecurities became a psychological weight that followed him from his first marriage into his second. After the end of his 2 tumultuous marriages, Dean Paul continued to seek love, and his later relationships were as captivating as the man himself. One of his most notable romances was with Candice Bergen, the beautiful and talented actress who was a Hollywood icon of the 1970s. Not long after, Dean Paul began dating Tina Sinatra, the daughter of music legend Frank Sinatra. This relationship garnered particular attention due to the connection between their 2 illustrious families. Tina was not only a longtime friend, but also a close companion during one of the most tumultuous periods in Dean Paul's life. Their bond reflected a deep empathy as both shared the heavy burden of living in the shadows of their legendary fathers. Although love and marriage never brought the fulfillment Dean Paul longed for, he remained a devoted lover and a responsible father. His love story, filled with beautiful yet incomplete dreams, epitomized the fragility and pressure a multifaceted artist like Dean Paul faced. His past marriages were not merely chapters of sorrow, but reminders that even those who shine the brightest are not immune to the weight of expectations and life's challenges. A passion for flight, Dean Paul Martin Jr. was not only a talented artist, but also an exceptional pilot with an unyielding passion for flying. At just 16 years old, he earned his pilot's license, marking the beginning of a journey where the skies became not only a realm to conquer, but also an indispensable part of his soul. In 1980, Dean Paul joined the California Air National Guard, bringing with him the zeal and determination of a man driven to push beyond every limit. In a short time, he rose to the rank of captain, proving that his passion was matched by his talent and the resilience required to meet the formidable demands of military life. For Dean Paul, the skies represented more than freedom. They were a sanctuary where he could escape the immense pressures of life. He once shared, "If I have to sacrifice myself in the skies, it's a price worth paying." This statement not only reflected his deep love for flying, but also revealed his acceptance of any risks in pursuit of his passion. For him, it wasn't just about daring the impossible. It was about living fully and authentically, embracing the value of life by giving it everything he had. Becoming a pilot was more than a career for Dean Paul. It was a way to prove he could rise above the shadow of his legendary father and create a legacy uniquely his own. The discipline and integrity he displayed in the military were undeniable testaments to his multifaceted abilities and indomitable spirit. He even sought help from psychics. One psychic, upon touching Dean Paul's flight suit, insisted but the skies which offered him inspiration and serenity were also where destiny awaited with its final challenge. For Dean Paul, this wasn't the end, but an intrinsic part of the journey he had chosen. He lived a life full of grand ambitions, and though his journey ended too soon, it stands as a testament to a soul constantly striving to conquer and transcend all limits. To Dean Paul, the sky was not just a space of freedom, it was a symbol of extraordinary dreams. In every flight, he found a profound meaning to life, one that surpassed the weight of pressure and expectations. In the end, even when faced with a cruel twist of fate, he left behind a legacy that inspires admiration in all who hear his story. To live fully and to fly as high as one's dreams. The tragedy of his final days. On March 21, 1987, Dean Paul Martin Jr., at the age of 35, prepared for a training mission with his co-pilot, Captain Ramon Ortiz. As a skilled pilot in the California Air National Guard, Dean Paul had undertaken countless flights throughout his career. However, on that day, unpredictable weather would become an insurmountable adversary. Their F-4C Phantom jet was set to fly over the San Gorgonio Mountains, a region with a history of aviation accidents. What seemed like a routine mission turned into a day that changed everything. Before takeoff, weather forecasts had warned of a potential snowstorm, yet with the mission's familiar nature and the pilot's extensive experience, the training went ahead. Dean Paul, who had often expressed his profound love for the skies, could never have imagined that this would be his final flight. As he settled into the cockpit, he might have felt the familiar excitement of facing a new challenge. But outside, the storm was silently gathering, heralding impending disaster. Shortly into the flight, a sudden snowstorm engulfed the San Gorgonio Mountains, reducing visibility to near zero. Air traffic control signals urgently warned the crew to adjust their flight path, but under such severe conditions, Dean Paul and Ramon Ortiz may not have had time to react. The F-4C Phantom, with its high speed and complex controls, appeared to lose direction. All final communication efforts between the cockpit and ground control failed. In those tense moments, no one could prevent the unfolding tragedy. The crash happened swiftly and unexpectedly. The jet slammed into the San Gorgonio Mountains at a devastating speed of approximately 400 miles per hour. The impact was so forceful that it obliterated the aircraft, leaving no chance of survival for those on board. News of the crash spread quickly, but the remote and treacherous crash site made locating the wreckage a daunting task. All hope now rested on the search teams. Immediately after losing contact with the plane, an urgent search mission was launched. Helicopters and rescue planes scoured the mountainous region, but the harsh weather severely hampered their efforts. For 3 days, Dean Paul's family and friends waited in agonizing suspense. Dean Martin Sr., the legendary entertainer, was said to have smoked incessantly and prayed tirelessly, clinging to the hope of a miracle. As time passed, that hope began to fade. In desperation, the Martin family, he was no longer alive. Another pointed to a location near the summit of San Gorgonio Mountain. Finally, on the 3rd day after the crash, search teams discovered the shattered remains of the F-4C Phantom on the mountainside. The heartbreaking truth was confirmed. Dean Paul Martin Jr. and Ramon Ortiz had died instantly in the crash. All hopes, however faint, were extinguished. The crash site was a scene of utter devastation. The wreckage was scattered across the mountainside, a stark testament to the immense force of the impact. There was nothing intact to identify, making the grief of the recovery team even heavier. The news quickly spread, leaving Dean Paul's family, Hollywood, and the aviation community in shock. Dean Paul's remains were laid to rest at Los Angeles National Cemetery, a resting place reserved for U.S. veterans. It became his eternal resting place, a recognition of his contributions to both the military and public life. Dean Paul's passing was a profound loss, not only for his family but also for Hollywood and the aviation world. Dean Martin Sr., an icon of resilience in the entertainment industry, struggled to cope with the loss of his son. Those close to him described how he became more withdrawn following the tragedy. The image of a proud father, now consumed by lingering sorrow, was a heartbreaking reminder of the depth of his grief. Friends and colleagues of Dean Paul expressed their sorrow openly. They remembered him as an extraordinary talent, a man with grand dreams and an indomitable spirit. This tragedy served as a bitter reminder that even the strongest among us cannot escape the fragility of fate. Dean Paul Martin Jr. departed this world at the age of 35, leaving an irreplaceable void in the hearts of his family and friends. The skies, which had once given him a sense of freedom and boundless passion, also marked the end of his journey. His passing not only highlighted the risks he was always willing to take for his love of flying, but also served as a poignant reminder of life's brevity and fragility. What are your thoughts on the inspiring yet deeply heartbreaking journey of Dean Paul Martin Jr.? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Legacy and impact. Passing away at just 35, Dean Paul Martin Jr. left behind a memorable legacy, not only through his career, but also through the love and admiration he garnered from his family, friends, and the broader community. His funeral, held in an atmosphere of solemnity and deep emotion, was a testament to the profound impact he had made. Close family friends such as Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr., and Lucille Ball were among those who attended to bid him farewell, along with hundreds of colleagues and loved ones from the entertainment industry. These illustrious figures came not only to pay their respects, but also to console his family, especially Dean Martin Sr., who faced the immense pain of losing his beloved son. The funeral was not just a moment of mourning, but also a celebration of a vibrant life. Heartfelt tributes from friends and family illuminated Dean Paul's multifaceted talents and character. A fellow serviceman spoke of his sense of responsibility and courage, remarking that he was not only an exceptional pilot, but also a reliable teammate, always ready to confront danger. A friend from the entertainment world recalled his days performing with Dino, Desi, and Billy, captivating the hearts of millions of young fans. For his family, especially his father, the loss was a crushing blow. Dean Martin Sr., known for his jovial and charming on-screen persona, became noticeably quieter and more withdrawn after the tragedy. In a poignant moment during the service, he whispered, "My son was the light of my life, and now that light has gone out." These words resonated throughout the room, leaving no dry eyes among those present. Dean Paul's legacy lies not only in his achievements in music, film, and the military, but also in his passionate approach to life. His musical contributions, particularly hits like "I'm a Fool" and "Not the Lovin' Kind," are remembered as classics of their era. In film, his performance in Players earned him a Golden Globe nomination, showcasing his genuine talent as an actor, independent of his family's fame. In the military, he stood out as a skilled pilot and an inspiring figure to his peers, driven by dedication and a deep love for the skies. To those who knew him, Dean Paul was not just a star, but a symbol of perseverance and unrelenting passion. Though his life was short, it served as a profound lesson in living fully and fearlessly in the face of challenges. Admirers often remark that Dean Paul touched their hearts not only with his talent, but also with his sincerity and the radiant smile he carried wherever he went. Reflecting on Dean Paul's life now, we see how his grand dreams came with an immense price. He lived, he loved, and he left an indelible mark on the world. Dean Paul Martin Jr. was more than an artist. He was a brilliant candle burning brightly in the night, giving light and warmth, even if only for a fleeting moment. He lived a life that anyone would admire, achieving success in music, shining on the silver screen, and soaring high in the boundless skies where he felt the freest. Yet that radiant candle was extinguished far too soon, leaving an irreplaceable void in the hearts of those who loved him. The significance of his life wasn't measured by its length, but by the way he lived it. Dean Paul chose to live fully, with passion and ambition, regardless of the risks and losses. Every effort, every dream he pursued was his way of affirming his existence, a life that was anything but wasted, no matter how brief. If you admire and cherish what Dean Paul Martin Jr. accomplished during his short but remarkable life, share this video to spread his deeply moving story. Don't forget to follow our channel to ensure you don't miss the next captivating tales of timeless Hollywood legends.